זו הטובה.
This is quite a discovery. Fragments of a biblical scroll, along with other relics, have been found in desert caves in Israel.
From the rebuilding of the temple and Jerusalem to a coming messianic king.
An arrow hit a man in ancient Herculaneum, but there was no arrowhead. How could that be? This city, buried alongside Pompei under volcanic ash, holds deep secrets like the Villa of the Papyri. Here, delicate scrolls.
We heard 3 scholars might finally have found a way to unravel the mystery of the scrolls.
Perhaps once owned by Julius Caesar's family. Talk about everything from music to deep thoughts on life. What if we're on the brink of discovering something truly terrifying? Let's reveal what shocking secrets they hold. So far, only a few scrolls have been read, but the potential is enormous. Some experts believe that these scrolls may have belonged to a wealthy Roman family, possibly even connected to Julius Caesar. If true, the ideas found in these writings could completely change what we know about Roman culture, with topics like music, happiness, pleasure, and philosophy all being discussed. But as the evening shadows lengthened, an urgent message arrived, shrouded in secrecy. Switching to another ancient civilization, the Indus Valley Civilization, its writing system remains a mystery. However, modern computers are now helping researchers crack the code by analyzing patterns with advanced algorithms. There is growing evidence that the Indus script might have been an early form of writing, perhaps used to record trades or religious practices. This script is turning out to be more complex than we first thought, and it might have represented both sounds and ideas. But the surprises don't end there. Take the Dead Sea Scrolls, for instance. These ancient documents, hidden in caves near the Dead Sea, offer a glimpse into the daily lives and beliefs of people thousands of years ago. The War Scroll tells the story of a great battle between forces of light and darkness, a conflict that decides the fate of the world. These ancient writings were found over 75 years ago in the dry desert by a young Bedouin shepherd. Despite being over 2,000 years old, they were well preserved because of the desert climate. However, figuring out what the texts said was hard. They were written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, and it took scholars decades to translate them. Even then, some parts were impossible to understand. But this isn't the only ancient civilization with secrets.
The Maya were the best timekeepers possibly of any civilization of all time. So if they know so much about time, and they knew when to do things.
The Maya, famous for their pyramids and complex calendars, left behind a lot of information in the form of symbols, called glyphs. These glyphs were carved into stone or painted on pottery, and for a long time, people couldn't understand them. Now, with the help of advanced software and big databases, researchers are uncovering the rich history and astronomical knowledge of the Maya. The software helps by finding patterns in the glyphs, making the decoding process much easier. There's even artificial intelligence being used to read these symbols, speeding up the process of understanding the Maya script. But the story doesn't end there. Modern technology is also helping us learn more about other ancient civilizations. Take the city of Pompei, for example. It was buried under volcanic ash, preserving the city as it was. On the walls of Pompei, there's graffiti, including drawings and messages from the people who lived there. This gives us a clear picture of what everyday life was like in Pompei. Techniques like high-resolution photography and 3D scanning are helping bring even the smallest details of Pompeian life back to life. Creating digital versions of Pompeii's ancient buildings and streets is helping researchers place the graffiti found on walls exactly where they were originally written. Now, artificial intelligence, AI, is stepping in to make this process even faster and more accurate. AI can sift through huge amounts of images and text, spot patterns, and pull out important information. This speeds up how quickly researchers can document and study these writings. Next, we go from ancient fields to discoveries that show how far history's reach can go.
But Austrian officials say they found evidence of one of the best preserved gladiator schools in Europe. They say most of it lies under the ground of this city, about 30 miles from Vienna.
In Austria, archaeologists made an exciting discovery, a real gladiator training school from the Roman era buried under fields. This find gives us a unique look into the lives of these fighters who lived far from Rome's famous Colosseum. Using advanced tools like ground-penetrating radar, they mapped out the entire site without digging up a single piece of earth. The radar revealed practice areas, tiny sleeping rooms, and even a bathhouse where the gladiators relaxed after tough training sessions. The most amazing part? This is the first gladiator school ever found outside of Italy, proving that gladiator combat was popular throughout the Roman Empire, not just in the major cities.
Deep inside the tomb of King Tutankhamun, there's a very special dagger with a blade made from a meteorite. For years, researchers were puzzled by the makeup of this blade. While ancient Egyptians were great at working with metals, iron was rare and highly valued during King Tut's time. So, creating such a beautiful dagger with a perfect iron blade and gold decorations was impressive. In 2016, scientists used a special tool that let them analyze the dagger without damaging it. They found high levels of nickel and cobalt, which are usually found in iron from meteorites.
They studied King Tut's dagger and discovered that it was likely to be made out of meteorite iron.
This showed that the blade was made from iron that came from space, but that's not all. The design of the blade shows how skilled the Egyptians were at working with rare materials and how much they respected things from the sky. But that wasn't the only surprising find in ancient history. Imagine driving down a modern highway, unaware that an ancient Roman road lies buried just beneath. Across the United Kingdom, many of these old Roman roads are hidden beneath today's streets and highways. The Romans were incredible engineers, and their roads were built to last. Now, thanks to technology like LiDAR, which uses lasers to scan the ground and create 3D maps, archaeologists are rediscovering these long-lost roads. LiDAR can see through thick vegetation and detect even the slightest changes in the ground, making it perfect for finding hidden features like Roman roads. Recently, several forgotten roads have been rediscovered, including some in places like Lancashire. They discovered a 10-mile stretch of road that once connected two important Roman cities, helping us understand how people traveled and traded long ago. Picture 9. Viking longships, long wooden boats with fierce dragon heads at the front, cutting through the waves. These ships were essential for the Vikings, allowing them to travel long distances for trading, exploring, and sometimes even raiding. For centuries, these ships were hidden beneath the soil in Norway, waiting to be uncovered. With the help of ground-penetrating radar, GPR, archaeologists have a new way to find these buried Viking ships. GPR works by sending radar waves into the ground, which bounce back when they hit something solid, like a ship. This helps scientists see what's underground without having to dig. In recent years, GPR has helped make some incredible discoveries. In 2018, a Viking ship about 65 feet long was found in a field in southeastern Norway. Just last year, another ship was found nearby. These finds are changing what we know about Viking shipbuilding and their ability to navigate the seas. But that's not all. GPR is also helping us learn more about Viking life. By scanning the areas around the ships, researchers are finding traces of settlements, burial sites, and other signs of Viking daily life. In a completely different part of the world, high in the Italian Alps, hikers in 1991 found a frozen body. But it wasn't a modern hiker. It was a man who lived over 5,000 years ago. This man, now known as Ötzi the Iceman, was incredibly well preserved, like a snapshot from the past. His clothes, tools, and even his last meal were still intact. Now let's uncover secrets from icy peaks and old battles that tell more about our past.
He's considered to be the oldest human mummy found intact.
Now let's uncover secrets from icy peaks and old battles that tell more about our past. But this wasn't the most surprising part. With the use of advanced imaging tools like X-rays and CT scans, scientists have been able to examine Ötzi without harming his body. They discovered an arrowhead in his shoulder, suggesting he was eliminated in a violent way. They also found tattoos on his body, which may have been used for healing. DNA tests revealed even more details. He had brown eyes, couldn't digest milk, and had a high risk for heart disease. His belongings and the contents of his stomach gave researchers a peek into what life was like during his time. Today, Ötzi is kept in a special museum in Italy, where ongoing research using the latest technology continues to unlock secrets about his life. Scientists have even recreated his face and voice, allowing us to connect more closely with this ancient man. This ongoing research shows how modern technology helps us understand our ancestors better. Similarly, new studies about Neanderthals are changing the way we think about these ancient humans. Scientists are now using 3D models of their skulls and throats to figure out what their voices may have sounded like. They study bones and vocal cords to recreate how air might have moved through their throats, giving us a better idea of what their voices were like, and proving they may have sounded much more human than we once thought. By studying the sounds Neanderthals made, researchers believe they might have spoken in sharper and more nasal tones than we do. They likely had a wider range of vowel sounds as well. Some scientists even think their speech could have been complex, meaning they might have communicated better than we thought before, possibly even with a developed language. This idea is important because it changes how we think about human evolution and how language first began. The terracotta army is more than just an impressive display of ancient skill. It's also a way to learn about history. These life-sized clay soldiers, guarding the tomb of China's first emperor, raise questions about who made them. With advanced tools like DNA analysis, researchers are starting to find answers. They've discovered that the workers who built the army came from many different regions of East Asia, showing that the Qin Empire brought together a large, diverse group of people for this massive project. At first, they studied mitochondrial DNA to learn about the workers' maternal origins, but now they are studying nuclear DNA to learn more about their families and ancestors. Together with archaeological discoveries, this genetic data helps us understand the lives of those who built the terracotta army and shows that the Qin Empire was highly organized and diverse. But this isn't the most surprising part. The new discoveries are also revealing just how far the empire went to realize the emperor's grand vision. In Hindu mythology, Dwarka was the kingdom of Lord Krishna, said to have sunk into the sea. For a long time, this was thought to be just a story, but recent technological advances have provided evidence beneath the ocean. Using tools like side-scan sonar and underwater robots, marine archaeologists have explored the waters near present-day Dwarka in Gujarat, India. They have found large stone structures that could be streets, fortifications, or even a harbor, along with items such as pottery, jewelry, and anchors. These discoveries support the idea that a thriving ancient city might have existed there. Carbon dating suggests these artifacts could date back to the same time Dwarka was said to exist. But what's even more fascinating is how these underwater findings are reshaping our understanding of ancient Indian history. Moving on, we'll see how ancient tools and buildings tell stories of old ways and wise skills. Pompei, buried under volcanic ash almost 2,000 years ago, gives us a window into ancient Roman life, especially their food culture. Among the ruins, archaeologists have found places called thermopolia, which were basically ancient fast food stands. Romans who were in a hurry would stop by these places for a quick meal. Modern technology is helping researchers dig deeper into these sites, uncovering more about what Romans liked to eat and how they lived, giving us an even clearer picture of their daily lives. But here's the thing. It's not just about food. These discoveries are revealing much more about Roman culture than we ever imagined. Today's technology, like advanced cameras and 3D scanners, is giving archaeologists incredibly clear views of ancient sites. They can even see faded paintings on old walls that show what foods were popular back then. These images, especially in places like Pompei, help us understand what people like to eat. With 3D modeling, it's almost like stepping into these ancient fast food spots where we can see everything, from the serving counters to big storage jars and even graffiti left by visitors. But they don't stop there. Researchers also use chemical analysis to check the food and drink remains in old cooking pots. In 2020, they found a well-preserved thermopolium, an ancient snack bar, complete with colorful artwork and food remnants, even finding a dog's remains tied near the counter. This discovery gives us a new peek into the everyday life and food culture of Pompei. But the exciting discoveries don't end in Pompei. Over at the pyramids of Giza, archaeologists have started using thermal scanning to explore the massive stone structures. This tech helps them spot unusual heat patterns in the stone. The idea is simple. Different materials hold and release heat at different rates. So, if an area of the pyramid changes temperature faster than the rest, it could be a clue that there's a hidden room or passage. In 2015, the Scan Pyramids project detected unusual heat changes on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid, suggesting something unusual underneath. And recently, another tool called muon tomography, which works like an X-ray, helped find a hidden 30-meter-long corridor near the main entrance of the pyramid. This exciting discovery combines both thermal scanning and muon imagery to reveal secrets buried deep inside the pyramid.
An incredible picture of the sky, with what appears to be the sun, moon, and stars.
Meanwhile, in Germany, researchers are studying the Nebra sky disk, a bronze artifact that's 3,600 years old and may be the oldest known map of the stars. The disk is decorated with gold leaf showing the sun, moon, stars, and possibly star clusters like the Pleiades. High-resolution photos capture every tiny detail of these decorations, and 3D scanning lets experts view the disk from all sides, helping them align the symbols with the ancient night sky. Advanced software even helps recreate the sky as it would have appeared during the Bronze Age. But that's not all. By studying the materials used to make the disk, researchers can trace where it came from and how it was crafted. But the Nebra sky disk is just one of many mysteries. Down in the Peruvian desert, the Nazca lines, massive drawings in the ground, have puzzled people for years. Some thought they were signs for extraterrestrials, while others believed they had religious purposes. Recent research and technology are giving us new clues. Writings found near these lines suggest they may have been used in ceremonies, possibly even for sacrifices. These huge drawings, visible only from the sky, reveal the rich cultural practices of the Nazca people and continue to amaze and intrigue researchers today. Let's dive deeper into ancient myths and rituals that shaped long-gone cultures. Yet, even with all these discoveries, the most surprising secrets of the ancient world may still be waiting to be uncovered. These creations were made to honor gods, hoping for good crops and other blessings, showing that the past wasn't always peaceful. They also highlight how important spirituality was to the Nazca people. We learned this through archaeologists using advanced tools like cameras and drones to get better views of the giant shapes and the land around them. Plus, 3D technology helped them study the designs more closely. In 1939, at Sutton Hoo, a major discovery was made, a royal burial site of an Anglo-Saxon king inside a large ship filled with treasures like gold jewelry, weapons, and a ceremonial helmet. The wooden ship had mostly rotted away, leaving just an outline in the ground. But with ground-penetrating radar, experts were able to see the full shape of the ship underground. With this information, they created detailed 3D models, showing that the ship was about 90 feet long, a clear sign of the king's wealth and power. The helmet, pieced together from many rusty fragments, is known for its intricate designs, showing warriors and mythical creatures. It symbolizes the king's power and his connection to the divine. This helmet alone has given us a better understanding of early English rulers and their culture. The Oxus treasure includes 180 pieces of gold and silver, along with old coins, created by the Scythians, a nomadic people known for their horse-riding skills and beautiful gold work. This treasure, likely found near the modern Amu Darya River, shows off their artistic and metalworking talents. However, many of the original pieces were probably melted down for their metal over time. But that's not the most surprising part. To understand these ancient items better, scientists now use scanning electron microscopes. These tools let them see tiny details and tool marks, helping them figure out how the Scythians made such intricate objects. The Siberian unicorn was a real animal that walked the earth thousands of years ago, but it wasn't a magical creature. It was actually a type of rhinoceros. Recently, a well-preserved skull was found in Kazakhstan, dated at around 29,000 years old. This means that these large creatures, similar in size to mammoth and with a likely impressive horn, lived at the same time as early humans. Radiocarbon dating, which looks at decaying carbon to determine age, helped figure out just how old the skull was.
The mummy was uncovered in the Andean mountains of South America, on the lonely, snow-capped peak of the world's tallest active volcano, Mount Uyayaka.
In the high Andes Mountains, scientists found a young Inca girl perfectly preserved in ice. With CT scans, they could look at her internal organs without touching her body, learning about her health and family background. Her clothing and the objects found with her have provided valuable insights into Inca culture, especially their sacrificial practices meant to please their gods and ensure the well-being of their empire. But the story doesn't end here. The famous statues of Easter Island still stand as silent witnesses to the past. Carved from volcanic stone, their massive size and unknown origins continue to amaze and puzzle us, offering more questions about the engineering skills and cultural beliefs of ancient civilizations. What might these discoveries tell us about potential links between distant ancient civilizations? Like, comment, and subscribe to explore more intriguing mysteries with us.